at 2 p.m. for the Artist Exchange radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We shared the same respect. What is happening? We're trading what's important for shiny things. I can't allow this blasphemy.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
Hey, what's up, and welcome to the Artist Exchange radio show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I'm your host, Nate. I am here today. It's Friday. Mr. Noah is still out. He's actually doing a show called 12 Angry Men down in Fells Point at Vagabond Theater. So he'll be there, I believe, until, I think this is the last week, or we have one more week to go. And he'll actually be here. So today is another one of those hot topic days, but we'll spend a little bit of time. I got I'll respond to my message that I did last week. But before I do, this week's book is Being Single, A State for the Fragile Heart. Now, this book, a lot of it is about love lost or dealing with not so much toxic relationships, but realizing when you're in one and how to discover yourself in the midst of that so you can get yourself out of it, or if you're the person on the other side, kind of improve the I don't know how to say, but just how to improve your choosing process. So I had started reading this book this summer, and I just picked it back up because we're doing a book every week. So this one is Being Single, A State for the Fragile Heart, A Guide to Self-Love, Finding You, and a Purpose Living Lifestyle. And this is by Kemi Sogunle. She's a really humble young lady who I got to meet about 2 years ago through the Black Authors Expo. And reading the book, it really does, it just helps you kind of to redefine your love life. As I'm moving into a different stage of my life, the things that I wanted before, I no longer want those things in the same way. So I am, I'm just choosing better options in my friendships, in my relationships, in my business life. And I really wanted to talk a little bit more about it. But the book, I'm trying to get her back on the show because we never really fully went through her book when she came on because she was on with two other authors. But I wanted to get her on and see where she's at now. So she'll be coming on shortly. We're just trying to figure out some dates and such. Also coming on next Friday, we'll actually have Miss Be Inspired Naomi Burrell of the Be Inspired radio show brand. She has launched her own network and she has a couple shows on, and she's been doing some facilitating. So she'll be on next Friday, as well as The Truth, the Poet. She has become this curator of spoken word and poetry and music, art events. And she'll be coming on talking about what she's doing and what's coming up for her. And this is her first time actually on the show. We've been going back and forth every time we see each other. And then finally, we just settled on a date, and she'll actually be here on the 27th. On next Monday, we have Mr. Josue coming back, and we'll actually have another guest. That guest will be announced this weekend, so you'll see the advertisement for that. You just saw the advertisement for Friday's show if you are logged on to the Artist Exchange Radio Show page. So definitely look out for that. Again, I say to you, if you are interested in coming on and being a guest, or simply sharing your story, if you don't have an event coming up, but if you just want to share your story and just have some good conversations about some of your life experiences that could help other artists or young people to kind of mature and get back to self, I think this is a great platform for you to do so. I have a lot of I'll say it like this. I have some things coming up, specifically for the storytellers that I've been coming across. And I've been talking about this series that I have coming up. And it's really to spotlight artists and art-related individuals in this community that have gone beyond just the status quo of being an artist. They are always reaching back, always coming up with new ways to support artists and how artists can be beneficial in the community. So we have a number of people that are lined up, and those interviews will start in December, actually. So we'll start releasing those interviews in December for the holidays and over the break, and once we come back, because the Artist Exchange Radio Show won't be coming back until February of next year. So we'll end our normal break period in December like we always do, but I won't be coming back in January. This year I did not do that, and it was very beneficial, and I got a lot of rest. But I also I came back a little bit more refreshed. We'll also be continuing throughout this year and going into next year our series of special interviews where we bring on an individual that has a specific I'll say talent or skill set, and they'll come on for 6 weeks and kind of demonstrate that, break that down, and give you some pointers. And it's normally things that are really beneficial. I'll be releasing the list that's coming up because we're finalizing the individuals for the rest of this year going into next year. So definitely stay tuned, stay locked in for that. And those those will be on Mondays. So every Monday for 6-week blocks of times, we'll have a new individual come on and sit in this seat and talk with you, and we'll bring on guests to kind of highlight those specific topics for that day. So definitely look forward for that. If you want to be added to that list, please hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. And yeah, so that will be kind of some of the highlights. I'll actually be working on it. I forgot that book. I should make next week that book, because I'll be bringing on the author of that book, and I'll be directing a new show. I don't want to say starting in October, but we'll be meeting in October to kind of iron over a lot of the details, and I'll be actually directing that piece. Please keep praying for Blueprints. We're kind of trying to make it a film, but we're going through the growing stages because I've never done a film before, so it will be my first time, but we're working on it. And shout out to God, my mind just went blank. Shar, and I really just forgot her name. That is crazy. But the name of the play that I'll be directing soon is called Soul Man Soul. We directed it a couple years ago for a playwrights festival, and we also took it to the Kennedy Center for Page the Stage, and I directed it there as well. So we'll be bringing it back. It's going to be a lot different than what we have, and I'll announce the auditions when we come back. So if you are a musician, if you are an actor, if you are a singer, please hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show, and I'll send you out some newsletters. But email me your information. If you have a resume, headshot, or if you're just interested, drop me a letter of interest or a message of interest, and I'll definitely add you to our growing list of individuals. So, but we'll announce that shortly. It won't be until October when we announce the auditions, though. But what else was I about to say? What else is coming up? What else? Free Fall is coming up, so definitely go now. I'm telling you now. Go now to Free Fall Baltimore. All throughout the month of October, there are a number of events. There are a number of plays and music shows, like concerts, workshops, things for children, a lot of things for children. You'll get to meet a lot of artists. They have the open studio tour, so on and so forth, all throughout the month of August. Some of the stuff is starting the end of September, and sometimes some of the things go on until maybe the beginning of November. But depending on how the weather, most of the stuff is going on, if not all of the stuff is going on throughout the month of October. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. You know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up, but
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs over constructive criticism of a Perry show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn because I'm going to make a promo out of this anyway and share it to your page. I need the scenes on Have and Have Nots to be like 5% shorter, each one. I want you to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, because this is supposed to be a soap opera. No one's dialogue on The Young and the Restless is like this. You don't have to talk about the random plant in the corner for 25 minutes on one damn scene.
They talk about random plants.
It was a blood stain on the floor for 5 episodes. I can't take it. We need to kick this up. I'm sorry. I love the Have and the Have Nots, and I continue to watch it in its 5th season, but I get so mad when I can go get myself a glass of water and come back and he had just started the next sentence in his first paragraph. I can't stand it.
They just want to get the point across.
It's not but you don't get the point for 4 episodes. It's too much. So now, according to ET Online reports, Tyler Perry has a pre-cut and dried response to a pretty cut and dry response to the rumors about him and Oprah. Here's what he says. It's completely false.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange radio show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I went and got the book that I was referring to, and it was A Soul Man's Soul by Jocelyn Walls. She's a really good friend of mine, and she wrote this book a number of years ago, and it actually was entered into a festival, the Baltimore Playwrights Festival, and we actually directed it, was it twice we did it? One time it was at Notre Dame, and it was a part of the series, so there were different areas in each one of the schools or venues. There was a play going on, and we did this play at Notre Dame, and then we got selected to go to the Kennedy Center to actually put it on as well. And it was an awesome, huge cast of people, and it really that moment kind of brought me back into the arts, because once I was asked to do it, it was actually me saying, this is the last thing I'm doing and I'm getting out of here, because as an artist I got burnt out with just the status quo, and I'm crazy enough, I'm not really back at that moment again, but I'm at a similar crossroad in terms of just partnering with individuals and really finding my space and my niche in life. And I'm really at a space where, as an artist, I have to, 1, get it in writing, 2, be sure that the people that I'm working with are ready for me, and they're not just there for the ride or getting what they can get, and then I'm left out in the cold, or people who really don't have your best interest at heart and really just trying to get their objectives and intentions done and fulfilled. And I'm all for helping people, but it has to go both ways. If I'm giving you, then I should be able to receive in that same conversation, unless it's just me choosing to do. And I don't do anything with the intention of getting it back. If I give you something, I'm giving it to you. But at the same time, if you're not looking out for me, there will be nothing else left after you finish taking. So if you want to continue to receive, then invest, put something into it. One of the reasons that I am a teaching artist, simply, and I'm going to talk more about being a teaching artist in the second segment, because that's been a part of the last 3 weeks of me preparing to start the first week of school or the beginning of school. But one of the reasons that I am a teaching artist is because I've gotten out of this experience. Hey, cousin, we have to do some lunch. I have some questions for you and some things that we need to talk about. So if you're still listening, make some time. I know you're busy all over the world, but make some time. But back to me being a teaching artist, one of the reasons that I chose to, one, be an artist, and now in my adulthood to actually teach young people what it is that I love to do is because I see the importance of giving back. This year has been tremendously difficult for me because I've never taught preschool before. And I have a whole preschool class that is draining me of energy, but it is fulfilling all in all. It's still very fulfilling because I've never been in this space before where I'm having young people who have never been in a learning environment, teaching them, one, the foundation and the structure of a classroom, but also introducing them to what it is that I know. And it's been very fulfilling the last 2 weeks to be in that school and be around such young people, because I have preschoolers and I have a first grade class. And it's very fulfilling, and it's really something to see them learn something that people don't think that they can learn. And young people are really just sponges, and they're ready to absorb whatever you give to them. They just need repetition. They need the repetition and consistency, and they gradually hold on to stuff and not have understanding. And it's our mission to really just keep reciprocating that. But I'm gonna get more into the teaching of what I do in the next segment. But I am at a crossroads in my creative life where I'm looking back over every opportunity that I've been able to get, and every opportunity that I've enjoyed and I've been a part of, and opportunities that I've been given from school up into 36 years of age. And there are a lot of regrets. There are a lot of bad decisions that I made. There are a lot of decisions that I made with the assumption that it was for the better good of my creativity. And you learn lessons. And I'm not a shoulda, coulda, woulda, or I don't look at regrets. But I do have regrets, if I had to say one. But I've used all of that as a learning tool to kind of push myself forward. And this play that is a book, came at a really opportune time in my life. I had gotten, some really bad news and struggling with life, and one of my uncles had just passed away. So I was really going through a lot of just stuff, and I got the opportunity to direct this play, and it shows you just how connected everything is. Somebody who supported me in my jewelry life got wind of this being of Miss Walls needing a stage manager or a director, and I came on because of that lady. And I met her because I was working with another organization, and it just, everything that I was doing was leading me up to me being reintroduced to my creativity, because I was trying everything that I could to get away from the arts. At the same time, because of this play, I have a radio show, because I was interviewed about me directing the actual show at this station, and that ended up with me actually being asked to come and join the station, and I did so, and I've been here ever since. And so I give a lot of thanks to this production and all the people that kind of was a part of it, and the individuals that, as a result, were kind of beneficial to me getting to this point. But that's Soul Man Soul, and we'll be directing this play once again. The dates are undetermined as of yet. We're still meeting and talking, and I'm actually doing my first read-through of the book, so we can make whatever necessary changes that are needed for us to direct. So we'll be holding some auditions later this year, really soon, because we are at the end of the year. And I'm really looking forward to meeting new people and probably some of the older people that was with the cast. Shout out to Ms. Walls and Shar for being a part of this and, reaching back out to me to be a part of it again. I couldn't see anything else. Okay. But we go quickly go to another commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned and fucked over, but remain strong through the past. Over, kicking haters out of the way like mast over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me to let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I peep the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator, but I can't save you. The weed too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry favors. Always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patience run thin, yeah, nigga OT, cause they wanna see me down like I'm an NCT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me.
Now listen to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general. I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange Show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
This unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new. Take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, try not to say too much. Let your love come down. If you
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BigExposedRadio.com. Don't forget, we come on every Monday and Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on www.BigExposedRadio.com. Hit us up if you want to have your own show, if you have an idea for a show, if you're looking for a new home for your show, hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com or info@BigExposedRadio.com. Put in the subject box, Nate, I want a show, and we'll set some dates and get you here for your initial interview, and we'll set you up with your own radio show here on Big Exposed Radio. Also, advertisers, if you want to advertise your upcoming event, if you have a business, a product, a service that you want to promote, if you're a new business owner, if you're looking for some wraparound services to help you with promoting your business and marketing your business, this is the place for it. So hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. We have some affordable rates and packages to help you promote, market, and highlight, spotlight your business. And all of that includes an interview here on the Be Exposed Radio, specifically highlighting your product, service, or event. And it will also help you tell your story. Advertising is such a key factor in today's business. No longer can you just have a good idea and put it out there and people will flock to it, but you have to have a unique story. You have to, not necessarily unique, but you have to show your uniqueness. You have to share your story and connect with your audience, your intended audiences, and people who you don't even think will be your audiences. People want to hear your story. They want to feel connected and invested in who you are and what you're selling them. And they don't want just faceless companies anymore. So we have to begin to share stories. And here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, the whole purpose of this platform is to do that. It's to help people to tell their story and connect with a larger group of people that are here for you and here for your best interest. And we want to be that best interest for you to help you kind of spread the word and the message. So in this segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about being a teaching artist and what it has helped me do. Today I'm repping my LTYC t-shirt. If you go to their website, ltyc.org, Leaders of Tomorrow Youth Organization, you can Google them. They're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Highlight them, look them up. They have a number of different shirts like this. I'll wear them, a couple of them. Every Friday, so I'll wear a new shirt. So definitely hit them up. But I work for this organization, and we are placed in schools, and I am teaching your young people every day. I work Monday through Friday, and being a teaching artist has been a strain, but it's also been a blessing for me, and it's been a challenge at the same time. A challenge in that I've learned a lot about the politics of school. I've learned a lot about the politics that goes into the educational system in and of itself, not just the community of the actual school, but just the whole organization of that is the educational system here in this city and a few other cities actually that I've gotten to go into classrooms. But I am here to, one, say to you, we need you. As educators, we need parents, we need the community, anybody that comes in contact with a young person. Just know, it ain't even about being a mentor, but you are a teacher. Anytime you've been blessed with an opportunity to be in front of a young person or older person, for that matter, but specifically a young person, you are a teacher. And everything you're doing, everything you're saying, everything that they see, everything that they hear, they're absorbing it. So when they come into a classroom, a lot of young people have a lot of things on them that they're carrying with them that they really don't have a lot of understanding about. There are a lot of young people that are going through trauma. There are a lot of young people that are going through physical, mental abuse. And they're not just feeling the results physically themselves, but they're seeing it. The way parents talk to each other, the way they hear this parent talk or that parent talk, or the conversation that they hear on the bus, or the conversation that they hear, in the midst of getting back and forth from school to home or wherever they're in travels to. They're listening, they're absorbing a lot of this. And as a teacher, I hear the results of it. I'm watching young people who have a stronger focus on what they have on in terms of jewelry and accessories and phones. We're in a technology age, and they have little to no capacity to learn anything else. It's possible, but a lot of the things that have been implanted in them is kind of making it a struggle for anything else to kind of penetrate. We have to stop dressing our children up and just focusing on what they look like. We have to begin to read to our children and instill in our children the values of education. We are in a system right now where everybody is telling, specifically people of color, that education isn't that important. And because Kanye made it, or P. Diddy made it, or Beyonce made it, or they don't need education. But it is a rarity that young people can make it through their childhood into adulthood without formal education. Now, college is something that I've always kind of fought for because I knew how hard it was for me to get to college. It wasn't easy, even though I had spent my whole childhood preparing for college and being in college prep schools. The actual you're going to school talk was never said to me. So it was a struggle for me to even get to college and matriculate through college. And I've had to stop several times in the process of finishing college. But it is possible. And I'll say to everybody, try it at least once twice if you really are confused, because it's not really for everybody. But I'll say this, not everybody can go at 18, not everybody can go at 21. Some people are going at 50, 60, 70 years old and then finishing. But I will say at least try it, because some of these same people who are pushing the narrative that college isn't for everybody, they have a college degree. And they wasted their time. But if they lived more on the side of the lesson versus the challenge, I think a lot of them will say it was very beneficial for them to have gone to college. Because college isn't about just the classroom, it's about the interpersonal skills that we learn as adults. Because some of us learn, and it's not even all of us, learn interpersonal skills as children, but it's a totally different game to learn them as adults. We learn how to sit in at a table with somebody and break bread and have conversation and network and barter, and that whole system of just learning who we are comes from our interpersonal skills, because we're not islands amongst ourselves. We are a community. But I do say to people, my cousin, Miss Jackson says, it starts at home. It's not about fashion, but about education. And it's really important, because that's why your children have to wear uniforms. Now, I'm against this whole system now where uniforms have gone, that we have to have not necessarily the colors, because that makes each school stand out amongst itself, but how some schools are forcing parents to buy these branded items where you're paying almost $10, $15 per shirt, and then you have to pay another $10, $15 to get the embroidery or the name put on the school on the shirts. I'm not for that. But it's a reason why most of our schools now are going back to the schools when children wear uniforms, because when them being able to dress down has become a distraction. And I see the distraction, because now it's about the tennis shoes or the accessories or your hair. And it's really distracting children from learning. So much so that I have a young lady in my class now who constantly, on a daily basis, I'm having to take jewelry from her because she's banging it and she's rattling it. And it becomes a distraction not only to her but to our classmates. But we put more emphasis on what our children look like. But we haven't prepared them for a school day. We've dressed them up. We've made them look really pretty and really handsome. But we haven't instilled in them any behavioral lessons or educational lessons. You know, how many of the parents, and I'm not speaking to parents who do these things, I'm speaking specifically to the ones who have not recognized that that's what they need to do. I'm not just going to blame them for not doing it, but some of them have not recognized, because some of them didn't get read to. Some of them didn't get behavioral lessons, but I know I knew better. My mother rarely had to tell me how to behave in school. And normally it was under certain circumstances when maybe something happened, but because that wasn't my normal behavior, I never even got the speech then. But I know for me, I was just a different child. I had different parents. You know, I was raised with a great grandparent. So my behavior in school was my mother worked in my elementary school, so it was just a certain way of life. But I'm still noticing now that that's not, even if parents they are teaching their children these things, they aren't reinforcing it. It's not something that you can say once. With children, it's consistency. You have to continue to, we have to continue to move forward. My cousin says again, what's missing in schools is life skills that can help them handle emotional and behavioral issues and develop core values and integrity. Take the jewelry until the end of class. I take it for the year. That's the type of teachers I had. If you playing with it, if you want it back, your parent will have to come get it. That's how I was raised. But to the other note, I hear a lot of people, especially on social media, saying what the schools don't offer. Budgets are already tight. Curriculum is already tight. I believe in school systems, we can reinforce a number of these things, and it's been put into a lot of like the company that I work for is a part of our professional development, and that how we manage our classrooms. So a lot of those things we are reinforcing throughout the class and putting that as our curriculum, but a lot of these Homes aren't doing it, and it's being put on the shoulders of teachers. And I know, just teaching multiple classes throughout the day, I am stressed enough as it is because you have different learning styles, you have different grade levels, you have different personalities, and then that's just the students. That's not even the work that goes into giving them what they need, but that's just dealing with the everyday student. Like this year, it was very stressful. I'm used to behavioral issues, but I'm not used to a child crying and can't communicate effectively what's wrong with them, or why they're crying, or the fact that they're getting used to a new teacher, myself. And it's difficult, but I'm learning how to flex that tool in a different way. And I'm not a behavioral specialist, but classroom management has become a part of what I do and a part of how I teach. It is a word that you often hear, and it's pedagogy, and it's really how you teach. That's the kind of simplest definition of that word. And I try to always teach from a place of what I've got. I pull from all those teachers that I had in grade school and middle school and even high school, how I was taught. And how I was taught could be from bad lessons or bad representation that I've gotten, but it's also a representation of the good lessons that I've got. Actually, hey, personal development is missing in some homes and schools. I see Kemi is on the line. Kemi, I'm going to be reaching out to you soon. As you can see, your book has made it to our book of the week. We'll be reading this book. This is actually the book that I'm reading this week, so definitely check that out. So I'll be messaging you soon, Kemi, but that's a great lesson. Personal development is missing in some homes and schools, but most importantly in homes. Personal development, interpersonal skills, how we relate to each other. I was taken aback because I entered a classroom where students were well behaved. I mean, you're going to have children that talk, children can't sit still. I'm teaching first grade and preschool, so it's going to be there. So that I can handle. But there are young people that are coming to school with behavioral issues that are far beyond what is normal for a child. And nobody is addressing it. It's just being maintained. And let's just not make him mad. Let's not trigger this child. And it's really difficult for me as a teacher, as a black male teacher, not to address those things because it's distracting and it's disrespectful often. And I've had other schools where the environment of the school, as well as the environment at home, was not conducive for that child to really turn themselves around because that behavior applied to a real life situation, and right now they're living in a bubble. But the moment they are outside of that bubble and they're adults and they're in real life, even before they become adults as teenagers, when they're having to interact on their own with people and not with the safety of a parent or a teacher always there, it is going to be really difficult for them. And I'm saying to the school system as well as parents, please be active in the child's life beyond when something happens. When something happens, it's too late. That child has gotten a scar, and that child has a muscle memory that is kind of affected by it. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
period.
The real. Right. That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that old money shouldn't go toward this. Money should go to if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week. You don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It Is What It Is radio show.
Like keys only have this bitch jumping. Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel. If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Work them old, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. If you play it for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. How I'm alive, I thank God for that. Praying about it, things getting better. Open it up with my name on the letter. What you crazy about it? Saying whatever, you shy to be you. You know you gotta be you. Sometimes I need privacy too. Yeah, you know I ride. You know I ride, and you know you ride for me too. Yeah, you know I. Look, you like getting that hit.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do, and you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. Right. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Nate Couser, and we're here live on the Be Exposed Radio station. So, if you want to join our team here at Be Exposed Radio, you can send us a message at info@BeExposedRadio.com. Don't forget to put in your message box, in the subject box, Nate, I want a show, and we'll get some dates out to you and we'll set up your initial meeting. Also, if you're looking for a place to advertise or simply be a guest, we have a number of shows that you can come on. If you email us at the info@BeExposedRadio.com, we can kind of facilitate getting you on certain shows. Or if you want to advertise, we can definitely hit you up. You can hit me up for advertising at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. You can also find the Artist Exchange on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as YouTube. On Facebook, we have a group page that is for you specifically to put in your information, whatever creative events you have coming up. If you have a play, if you have auditions, if you want to show your work, if you want to just network with other artists, not just from out of Baltimore, but from around the world. There are artists in that group from around the world. What I have done is, because I have a lot of businesses that have been trying to post in that group and a lot of other radio shows that have been trying to post in that group, I have started a Artist Exchange entrepreneurial page. And this page is specifically for you to advertise all your upcoming events. The only rule in this group is you have to pay for a membership. Your membership allows you to post and to market your event beyond just dropping it off. I really want you to begin to talk to people and not just add your stuff to their pages or share your stuff to their pages. But with that, I've really that will be up and running in the next 2 weeks, and that's another page on the Artist Exchange Radio Show page. So definitely look out for that as well. And it's just strictly for businesses or entrepreneurs to post their work. Separate from the Artist Exchange group page that is specifically for artists. It's kind of hard to kind of separate the two, but I've had to separate it because I don't want non-artist stuff kind of flooding the page and artists not being able to share and promote and do those things that they need to do to get done what they need to get done. So in the last segment, we was talking a little bit about the world of an educator, specifically an arts educator. We're in a space here in Baltimore where the teaching artist is being rubbed out, and they are being replaced by quote unquote more qualified teachers that are registered and such. And I'm here just not so much complaining, but really putting that space out there for the education system to reevaluate the ideas of getting rid of teaching artists. And the idea is to bring in teachers from other states and such to fill those positions of, right now, music and art teachers. And I'm saying that's a bad idea. One, because students need the balance of it. It's okay for them to have registered teachers, that's fine. But if that's not the profession choice of that individual, I think you're doing a disservice to the system at large. And they're not saving any more money. They're not getting rid of bad teachers. Behavioral problems aren't necessarily going to change because a teacher has had a class in classroom management, because the same registered teacher is going to have the same problem out of a student that a non-registered teacher is having. And that's just what it is. But I would want them to reconsider and stop trying things out on children and changing the environment and the faces that they get to see. So yeah, that has been my experience being a teaching artist. If you have any questions about, say, LTYC, the schools that we've reached and the services that we have, you can definitely, you can go to that Facebook page at LTYC, and as many, they're real responsive. They're really responsive. If you are thinking of becoming a teaching artist, I think that's a good organization for you to start up with. So definitely hit them up and become a teacher. I'm trying to share this out as much as I can, and it's really hard to do so because I'm trying to talk at the same time. But I'm going to share it out more at the commercial break. So I think we have 1 more minute left. I'm going to... So I just shared it out. So come on to the show, come share your story if you're an artist, if you know any artists that would benefit from this experience. Not only do I sit down and do interviews with you, but I work with a number of artists to help them become more media ready, because part of advertising and marketing and the PR of what you're doing and the artist development is being able to sit down in a media platform and be able to market yourselves and introduce yourself to those audiences to help you kind of spread your audience value. So we help you with that. We help you with kind of organizing and streamlining your business as an artist. And even with non-artist businesses, we help you find creative ways to market and promote your business and your services, your products, your upcoming events. So again, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and I'll say to you once again, hit me up, the Artist Exchange Radio Show. If there's anything that you think you need help with, or you think I can help you with, even if I can't personally help you, I know how to redirect you to someone who can. So hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. Peace out.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'ma show these niggas what to do at one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. her fault. Depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated babysitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should have been blessed with certain chances. Look down upon, getting all the hurting glances. Making men change up all the twerking stances. She never cried about the pain, only gritted her teeth. But most soldiers never get a flower or a wreath. She like G.I. Jane in the war.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. What you up to, just go hard. Don't matter. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father dead. Mom bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money, so you seen it's less than all your friends. But it a joke because your mother.
Thought you gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is, 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it. But yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like,
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. And this segment, I wanted to ask the question: are you ready? The way I wrote it is not how I want it to come across, but are you ready for your business? In terms of, so you have an idea, or you do something well, or you have a special skill set, and you decide to go open up a business. You go to register the business, and you may or may not have a storefront, you may or may not have a website, but you're ready to do business. And me, being a business owner, my first business was my jewelry business, Vashta Blue Jewelry, and I started that business out of necessity. Well, I wouldn't say necessity, but I felt like it was time at that point to make it an official business. I had been selling jewelry on campus when I was going to Coppin State University for about a year or so, maybe 2 years. It might have been more than that, because I remember making it and selling it, giving a lot away, but more so selling it a lot when we had vending events at Coppin and such. And I had started to sell things at vending events outside. Friends of mine who was having events would offer me a table and let me set up at their places. At that time, I wasn't being charged, or I may have paid like a minimum fee to go out. And I remember a friend of mine, Tanelia Ingram, for something not related to jewelry. She had been a person who had been supporting me nevertheless, but she gave me a check for really, at that time, a nice amount of money for something else that she was helping me with, and she decided to kind of support me in that. And I remember going home, seeing that check, and just knowing exactly what I wanted to do with it. I registered my business, which was probably like $90-some at the time, and I bought business cards, I bought some art supplies, and some jewelry making supplies. And I believe the last half of the money, I spent half of the money registering it and setting up on Etsy and all those things. and like getting prepared. And then the second half, I actually opened up a bank account. But I really don't believe I was ready to start a business. And I bring this portion up only because I'm kind of purging myself as an artist, because a lot of the things that I had made decisions for wasn't the best decisions, or some of them were, and I'm kind of separating what was good, what was bad, what worked, what didn't work, and kind of moving forward in this place. And I because I'm working with other artists, I'm realizing people aren't ready for the business side of what they were doing. I was ready to become a business, but I wasn't ready for the business in terms of my spending habits, my financial kind of literacy at the time, and just being ready. I was doing work. I was doing the work. I was being prepared. I was making jewelry. I had a lot of stuff made up. And it was just about taking it and going to the next level. Now, that check that I had received helped me to kind of put myself in a space where I was ready. Simultaneously, the job that I was at, they closed down unexpectedly. And that's a whole nother story, but they had closed down unexpectedly. We all received a severance check, and with that check, it helped me to kind of live until the jewelry business kind of started, taking care of itself again, and being as though it was at another stage. I remember setting up a stall out the flea market, Patapsco flea market, and I was selling my jewelry. And I wasn't happy doing it that way, but that was like next level for me. It wasn't just a vending event. I actually had a space where people can come twice a week, actually, and buy my merchandise. But it just helped me to get to the space. And I said I wasn't really ready at the time because I didn't know what sacrifices I would have had to make in order to really invest in and really delve into business. And I asked the question to you all, and if anybody wants to answer, some people aren't ready for business, period. Why aren't they ready, Miss Nixon? Why aren't they ready? Sharon Nixon, owner of Baltimore Fashion Week, as well as the Fashion Umbrella Foundation, founder of the Baltimore Fashion Umbrella Foundation. She'll be doing an event. If you put the information in this group, I don't know if you can add a picture, but put the date for your workshop. She's doing a workshop on sponsorship, and I really encourage you all to take advantage of this. It's like a half a day, couple hours that you can put into learning sponsorship, and it's across the board. Marketing yourself, branding yourself, but in the avenue of sponsorship. How to get other people to support your mission and your products and your service and just your business in general. So Sharon is still on. Put your information here, Sharon, so people can get the information. I can share it out again. But she'll be doing that on the 19th of October, and I'll share that out on the page as well. But with that being said, are you really ready? And from what Sharon just said, there are a lot of people who are not necessarily ready because they have a lot of bad habits that they need to become aware of and they need to fix before they start messing with money that isn't theirs. And when your business makes money, even though you're the person that's making your business money, that money isn't yours. That was the hardest lesson that I had to learn. And it was a very simple fix that it took me a number of years to do. One, you have a business account, you have a personal account. Now you can pay yourself from that business account, but not whenever you feel like it. It should be a routine, like every week on this time, if I have this amount of money, I'll pay myself this, or whenever I do a gig, I'll pay myself this percentage. Now I believe in paying yourself first, because if you're living off of that business, then you need to be making money. But that should fuel you to make even more money so you can make what you need to survive. Now, because your light bill is due and you have $1,000 in your business account, that don't mean you can go into your business account and borrow or really steal. Most of us steal from our business accounts to pay our personal expenses. Now, if you go pay yourself, say your bill, you got $1,000 in your business account and light bill is $150. Now, you can pay yourself $150, but that should be already something that you're doing. You shouldn't just pay yourself when you need money. That's why until you are really ready to really live off of your business, another mistake that I made, I thought I was ready, and I was ready, but I wasn't completely ready. Like financially, I wasn't ready. So I should have kept the job that I had until I had saved up enough. Now, what I would say specifically to artists, there will never be enough money, and to entrepreneurs in general, there'll never be enough money you can raise. There'll never be enough money you could save before you do it. They say you should have 3 to 6 months worth of rent or mortgage payments saved up. Your major bills like car insurance, you should have that up to, I believe, 3 to 6 months of that saved up. Some people say a year of that saved up, so you can live a year like that. But that's hard. In the meantime, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I know how hard that is. But it's possible to live off of, a paycheck while you're building a business. I say the same amount of hours you give to your 9 to 5, you should give to your own business. And that's one of the mistakes that I made also, because I did a quick rip from one job, and then, like I said, the other job eventually they downsized, but then they totally closed down their location here in Baltimore, and I wasn't willing to travel at the time to continue on with them. But it really affected my everyday, because one thing that I did not do was I did not prepare, nor did I change my lifestyle. So I would still go on vacations. I would still pursue, like, go out, to dinner, or go out with friends, or go on vacation, or, go to movies. And I didn't put myself on a budget, nor did I didn't put myself on a budget outside of what I was used to. So what I was used to was not possible with the business that I was starting. And I kind of did it simultaneously. And then I was working as a non-jewelry artist as well. I was still acting and getting paid. I was still directing and stage managing and doing tech work and getting paid for that. But again, that was, I had started another business. And it was really hard to kind of maintain that because I wasn't ready to do that. I was used to checking into a business and having a certain amount of things to do. And I would say, sidebar, your 9 to 5s can teach you a lot about running your own business. But we don't always associate that with our new business. One, because we don't really like the way our business is going. But just the structure of a business, how people check in. So for me, when that period of time where I didn't have a regular job, but I was still working as an artist and I was going to school at the same time, I had to put myself on a schedule. I already had a schedule because of school, so that was my other schedule, but I had to force myself eventually to put myself on a schedule as an entrepreneur, because you feel like, this is my business. I can check in when I feel like it. But you still have things to do. You still have errands to run. You still have things to do for home and outside. But you have to put yourself on a schedule. You still wake up. If you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready, you still wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get ready, set up yourself a makeshift work area at home if you don't have the funds to open up a new space somewhere else, or if you don't have an office somewhere else. I think I knocked it off. If you don't have the funds to set that up at that time, still do that. Still do those things at home. My first office was in my kitchen, at my kitchen table. I set that up as my jewelry business. And then in my bedroom, I had a desk, and that's where I would, look for new scripts and look for auditions, and I still was working. But it took me a long time to even get to that point. I knew to do some of those things naturally, but I should have looked at how did my regular 9 to 5 run? What were the things that were already put into place that I walked into? What are the things that I created there, the processes that I created to make my job a little bit simpler in my day-to-day? Apply some of those things to my actual work day. Sharon says, but you have to have some proof of where the money goes in why receipts. For me, I use an expense statement with supporting receipts. Yes, all that stuff is true, but you can't just pay for this out of that. Because what happens during tax time? Like, how do you justify that? And like she said, receipts. All your business expenses should have receipts. All your personal expenses should have receipts, but you should often put yourself in a space of not using or thinking that your business money is your personal money, and it's not. I've learned a valuable lesson in that. My last time setting up a business and actually a partnership with somebody. And I had to learn the hard way because I was used to doing all my finances one way, and this person was used to doing theirs a different way. And us working together, it was definitely a clash. But I had to learn a lesson. That person definitely learned a lesson. But I had to learn a really valuable lesson in business with that. Hey, Canty. Sharon says, but everything may not be considered a business receipt, especially alcohol being a nonprofit. Being a nonprofit has its rules too. So that's a whole nother animal. And hopefully I'll be working along with Sharon and kind of doing these workshops throughout the year for people to be able to go to kind of start up. You don't have to wait, but I would say do as much homework as you have to do or you think you need to do to get you prepared. And these workshops will help you to not necessarily make the wrong decisions and have. You can be an artist and make bad decisions and just do something else when it doesn't work. But starting a business are financial mistakes. Financial mistakes cost you. And if you are the business owner, it's costing you because it's often your money that you're wasting because the business didn't have any money. You set up the money to pay for the registration and the websites and the business cards, so on and so forth. So that's your money that you're wasting having to start all over again with a new location or a new website when you lose one and all those things. But everything may not be considered a business. Better beware. I better beware. But she's talking about the 19th, and let me scroll up to get that. So the event is October the 19th. You can go to www.fashionumbrella.org/university. Okay, Miss University, I better get some credits. Some credits for this. But are we ready to go to break? So we're about to come up on another break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com.
Listen to this flashback of Skyline Radio Show.
So where we at? Where we talk about the effects and what's going on in these schools?
Yeah.
And what people don't understand. Just real briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what people say bullying is or is not. So bullying comes in many forms. It's a teasing, it's the cyberbullying, it's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the posting of pictures and people's personal information to pretty much cause them harm, to have them feel insecure. It's the sex assaults that people actually put out there. They're physical assaults, and there are mental assaults and emotional assaults. And what I like to remind individuals that any aggressive behavior towards anyone that is unwanted and unwarranted, and an individual asks you to stop. Let's stop there. Stop.
And they should be respecting that.
Respecting that and respecting yourself, because when you're able to respect another person, you're able to respect yourself. Right. And the way that you're able to show that respect is that you know that you have a gift, and you know you're uniquely made and that you matter, and then you also acknowledge that the next person beside you matters as well.
Right.
You know? And we lose that sometimes. Bullying is a behavior that underestimates the lives and legacy of you. I'm sure when they was bullying me, and I'm sure when they was bullying you, they didn't understand who you're going to become later on. I didn't know.
Right, because I'm popping. I can't pop. All right, let me tell you, all those people who felt like they wanted to say whatever to me, look at me now. It's like, no, y'all don't understand, but I've been through some things, okay?
And you know what? No. I applaud you and I salute you, because a lot of times we do not take the time to say, I'm okay, and I'm okay with me, and there's nothing wrong with me, and I'm amazing, and I'm blessed, and I'm strong, and I matter.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Skyline Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next up.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Trying to get home.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. And we got a special call-in guest, Miss Sharon Nixon. She's going to explain to us what's happening on the 19th and what you should have prepared in taking this course. See, you like, so I just spoke it into existence.
Yeah. You just
I just spoke it. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it.
I do believe it. I believe everything I do. So anyway,
so tell us what to expect on the 19th, and how should people be prepared for it?
So first of all, the event on the 19th is totally online.
So
you
it's
don't
an
have to get
online
dressed.
course.
It's required that you wear. It's an online course. You can take it from the comfort of your home, your car, your man's place. I don't care. Just come. And I'm and Nate and I. Nate's going to cover advertisement, and I got to tell you something too about the 24th too, Nate. But anyway, he's going to cover media, and I'm going to talk about sponsorship, getting sponsors. We're going to go over websites. We're going to really talk about budgets, and we're going to talk about sponsor letters, because I have one that I'm going to use as a mock-up for the class, and I asked if I could use that for our class, because when the person sent it to me, I ripped it up, and when I sent it back, it was right. Now I don't know if they used it, but yes. So the class on the 19th is very interactive. It's from 11 to 4. You can we'll take a break for lunch, so that means you will log off and then just come back. And maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
To 4 p.m.
11 a.m. to 4 p.m. What did I say, 11 p.m.?
No, I'm saying 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes.
That's like a seminar class. I know it's online. You know my attention span.
Really
I'm gonna have to be wherever you are, because I'm gonna have to be attentive.
I know, because I know.
Online classes, my attention span is short, so I always had to be at the class.
But listen, my courses aren't boring.
No, it's not that they're boring. Okay. It's just me. If I don't have somebody that can physically look at me, I'm not responsible.
I'm not like sitting in classes, because I don't want to deal with the stupidity of my other classmates. So we got to do that.
I was a class clown, so I like that. That was
okay. So anyway, now that I walk into
11 a.m. to 4 p.m. online.
I'll be on 3, and when they register, because we had a couple of people to register already, they will also receive a journal that I'm having printed up, a fashion umbrella. found a Fashion Umbrella University journal, so they'll get that so they can record notes. This is one part of a mini-series course, which means that this is part of the event management course that will be happening soon. So the first thing is sponsorships, and then I'm kind of doing it backwards a little bit. So I should have talked about how to plan an event, especially, like we did that time in April. That's what I need to talk about as well. Again, because people have seemed to have, it wasn't that many people there for the classes, they seem to have lost it. So the sponsorship I'm going to teach them everything I know. I mean, if you go to our sponsor page or any one of our sites, for Baltimore and the Fashion Umbrella, you'll see all the sponsors we've had. Them are repeat. So basically, I don't have to go do all the song and dance. I can just send them a cute email. What is that noise? A cute email and say, hi, we'd love to have you. And I just keep it short and sweet. Like all of this, the first time you reach out to them, you might have to do a really long song and dance and have a whole bunch of meetings. But once they build faith in you and your mission, and then the rest, a piece of cake. I mean, I've been doing fashion, it'll be 13 years next year. And it hasn't been easy. Trust me. It's not. Sponsorship it's not easy, but I'm going to show you ways so you can have it. We're going to talk about the different ways that you can present to sponsors, because people don't like to lead, don't like to read, and sponsors are visual busy. They don't have a lot of time. What do you want? What you need, and probably.
And often sponsors aren't necessarily in your field, so you giving them a long, drawn out manual on your creativity.
They don't care. They don't care. But why are you calling me, and why I think because our feet really have proven that we understand why. I'm going to talk about all that in the class. I'm going to tell you how to find the right person to do the website. A lot of people don't know there's a way to navigate through the right website to get the right person.
Right.
It's not just .org.com and find it there because you won't.
Not just the secretary, the person at the front desk. You can't just.
Right. You want to be speaking to the top people. Sometimes you want to get past the gatekeeper and get to the person that's making a decision. So you look for sponsorship. That's who I'm talking to. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to at the front. I want to speak to the person. And now that I had 12 years I dealt with Baltimore fashion professional, I demand that, and I get it. But we have a record. You just can't do an event for 2 years and sleep for 4 and then come back because there's no consent. Why should they waste their time with you, not even consistent with what you want to
do? So what should they be prepared to have during the
one thing we request is that if they don't have an event coming up, that they kind of sort of think about a mock event, something that they wanted to do. The budget is $5,000, so they have $5,000 to make this dream come true. And so during the class, we're taking our break offline. That's more of a lunch break. What they call it, a brown bag lunch and work or whatever, where they're going to spend that time to work on their idea, and they have to pitch it to me.
Right.
And my job is to tell them where their loopholes are.
And
while they're on the actual course, if they don't want to show their face, they don't want to. I will send out an email to everybody asking if want to be recorded. If I get one person that says I won't record it, because I have to turn around again and do it without everybody being there, because I have to drop it on the page where the rest of my courses sit. So
I may have an idea for that. So.
Oh, you may? Okay.
Yeah, I may have an idea.
Are you coming by tonight to talk about it?
Yeah, I will. I will after the show, actually, because that was my intention.
Whatever.
That's just where I'm at in life. I'm always ready.
We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Be ready.
See how
so
ready you
have to
are
get
tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Let's say thank you to Miss Nixon for tuning in. And we'll see you on the 19th. Peace out. All right. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response? And I guess when I had to meet with that said person who had the issue with the person who was said leader of that organization.
Okay.
I said, well, to that person, how would I have known that? Well, you should have asked.
I think so. You want my opinion?
It was a circle, and I was willing to go on that merry-go-round.
You are better than most.
Yeah.
I think that's normal when you're in a group and there's norming. Most of the time when you're in new work environments or you're in a space where you're getting to know people, it's normal now to ask for people's preferred pronouns. You wouldn't have known that.
Normal to who? What is normal?
Well, you work in social. You work in social innovation and
my pronouns. So it's not normal to me.
You don't, but I think, because I feel like the person was probably offended because they felt like you were not honoring whoever they are, right? But you wouldn't have known that.
Still to this moment, I don't know what their pronouns are. So in that whole circle, we still don't know. So I'll go as far as saying I perceived it to be.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. We just finished talking to Sharon Nixon. She is the founder of Baltimore Fashion Week and also the Fashion Umbrella Foundation that puts on Baltimore Fashion Week. And I am learning in today's time. Where's that? On the like it's just a, so we are what was I saying? Oh, I just forgot my whole train of thought. So I have been learning how to work with other people in a different environment, in a different space, and not just, people who want to work with you. In the beginning of me doing the radio show, I made a lot of mistakes in choosing people to come on and either be guests or partner with me or work with me or be co-hosts, and that's not bashing any of my co-hosts because I individually like them as people, but outside the show. A lot of individuals had intentions that they didn't necessarily honestly share with me. And it's okay to have intentions. You have to be open about the things that you want. So then there isn't a butting of the heads or conflict down the line. And I have a bad habit of just wanting to help people and not getting things in writing and not having boundaries set. And often people don't respect boundaries. They don't respect boundaries or your input when you haven't initiated it or set the precedent for those things up front. And it's really important in business to do those things, and I had to learn those lessons the hard way. And it's okay, because that's a part of the cycle of learning. You have to learn things a certain way. But what I will say is I am at a different space in my life where I am no longer not doing those things. So everything that I'll be doing from now on has a certain precedent, has a certain standard that I'll be a part of now. That I'll be not a part of, but I'll be presenting now. So whenever somebody wants to work with me, these are the parameters. You know, if it requires for me to set my prices, I'm going to do so, and I'm very comfortable with setting them. And I no longer wish to kind of haggle over things. If you can afford it, fine. If you can't, that's fine also. But I'm really ready to move forward in a different way that's not beneficial to myself and my growth and my creativity and my brand. I'm no longer selling off my pieces. But I come as a whole product, and if you can't take the whole package, then you don't want none of it. And it's just that simple. I'm not working with people who are only nitpicking at my ideas and taking them and using them for their own use, or requiring things out of me that they don't have themselves, or requiring things out of me that they're not willing to put back into the pot. So it is not anything bashing anybody. This is just my truth and my honesty and how I've been able to do it. And I haven't been perfect in it because, again, I'll say I never really showed up as my whole self. I gave people the parts that I thought they could handle versus showing up as my whole complete package. I'm no longer dumbing down my creativity and my sense of self-worth to make other people feel comfortable in their world, in their life. I did that a lot. And I bit my tongue a lot. We're said there's a time and place for everything, but sometimes you gotta let people know how the hell you feel and not feel any shame or compromise in doing so. And I'm comfortable with saying right now, I'm comfortable with myself. I've been comfortable with myself, but it's time for it's definitely time. Or if you're looking inside yourself or kind of re-examining yourself, what are the things in your life, in your space, in your circle are you doing that's not beneficial to your growth? How do you want to change those things? What are you going to do? When are you going to start doing them? How are you going to apply those things to your life? Because we're already in a space that's moving. Time isn't standing still. You can take breaks, but life is still moving. So what are you going to do? That's my big keyword, do. What are you going to do? And not in time, but what can you start doing now? You know, some things take time to evolve, but most things is what can you apply right now to your everyday? And I've had to look at myself and really examine and be honest and truthful with where I am and what I want and what the difference in those things are from now to then. And really look at where I want to be in life in general, and not just, not just for stuff. I've never been a stuff person. I'll never be a stuff person. New things are great, but old things feel just as good. And I'm a person that really respects just my creativity and my name. If I have nothing else, I have my creativity and I have my name, my integrity. And a lot of people aren't looking at that. They're looking at what my creativity can buy me. What stuff can I get for doing what I'm doing? And I'm not that person. And I know a lot of people get in trouble because people assume that everybody's out for something. So I've always got put in that group as well. But I've had to really just sit down and just think. Sometimes you can't write stuff down. You can't research it. You got to just sit down and do some old-fashioned free thinking and determine what it is that you want. What do you have? What are your working resources, your working capital now? Like, what do you have? Like, what does your bank account look like? What materials do you already have? What social capital? And that's, your social capital is very important. I think it's something that most people overlook, and most people, and the other people capitalize off of. And normally those other people are the people who aren't as talented as you, but they capitalize off the people that they either have around them or can get around them. And a lot of people succeed in life because they're able to live off of social capital. What is your social capital? How many people can you get if you had an event going right now and you had tickets to sell, how many people could you get to come out right now? And that doesn't determine necessarily your social capital or the extent of your social capital, but everybody's not going to buy a ticket. Some people will be able to be sponsors to your event. Some people will be ticket buyers. Some people can be help, employees or help at your event. Volunteers, help, or just supporters of your event. Some people can help you spread the word. What is your social capital, and what category do they fit in? You being able to get to where you want to get to in life, and it's not using people, but really understanding what you have. I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine. Hold on, I'm trying to get Miss Kemi on the phone. So yeah, I was talking a minute ago with a friend of mine, Tracy, and that was one of the conversations that we had. One of the topics was, what is our social capital? How can we benefit or utilize the people that are there in support of us? And one of the things that I had to realize, not everybody can buy a ticket, not everybody can afford to be a sponsor or give you money for something, but some people can give you word of mouth. Some people can show up the day of and be an awesome ticket person. That is capital. That is more beneficial than buying a ticket sometimes, because you need somebody you can trust at the front door. You need somebody who can be a backstage person. You need somebody that can help you kind of diffuse. But what can people offer you? And that is really what is beneficial. So I'm trying to get Miss Kemi to call in, and she said she'll be calling in. She's on the phone. I think, did she call me? Let me see if I have to call her. So I'm trying to get Miss Kemi on the phone. She is the author of this book, and I wanted to have her call in and see.
Name after the tone and Google.
Ooh. Hello? So we're trying to call into Miss Kemi. Hello?
Hello, this is Kemi.
Hey, Kemi.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. This is Nate from the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
How are you, Nate?
I am great. I just wanted to give one. I told my guests my audience how I met you, but I had received so many books over the 2 years that I had been interviewing authors like yourself, that I am just now really getting to all of the books and really getting a chance to not just skim through them for your interviews, but to actually read them and kind of digest them. So this week I had picked up your book, and I'm not quite single. I would say it's complicated, but a lot of the themes that you wrote about in this book, I'm still having to kind of think about. And it's forcing me to kind of think about some of the things. But tell me a little bit about your inspiration in writing this book, and just a little bit about yourself to reintroduce yourself to it. But we're definitely going to try to get you on the show so you can get a full interview. But right now we have about 15 minutes for you to kind of give your, a synopsis of the book, if you will.
Okay. Let me start by introducing myself to those who may not know me. My name is Kemi. I am the author of Love, Sex, Lies, and Reality, Being Single and Beyond the Pain, and also my memoir that's coming up. I'm a certified life coach and also a global speaker on life and relationship issues. What actually inspired me to write Being Single and all the rest of my books was that I went through a life process myself, being married for 15 years and later getting divorced after that to beginning to find myself. I was completely lost in the process, and I discovered that, during my healing process, my books were birthed. And one of the things I wanted to document was not my story, because most of the time when we document the story, you're reenacting your pain to other people that are also in pain, that are going to connect to you. What I wanted to start to share were the lessons that I had learned through my journey and through coaching other people that can help other people begin to look at their own lives and say, you know what? If I can take a look at the things that led me to the point where I became broken, if I take a look at my life and see what I can do to heal, if I take a look at what I wasn't taught and I can start to teach myself and educate myself to develop myself personally and also to allow myself see life from a different perspective, I can allow myself to begin to grow and to begin to get out of my own way and begin to live my own best life. Because what we tend to do is to mirror, we grow up, we tend to mirror everything we see around us. We mirror the pain of the parents, we mirror the pain of any family member that we grew up around. We may have been abused, we become numb to ourselves, and we continue to spread that pain to other people. I was sharing on my page today on how narcissists are birthed. The people who have gone through childhood trauma, and part of what I documented in my book is to be able to recognize those signs that will prevent you from getting into such relationships that are now breaking you further than helping you find yourself. Because any healthy relationship you get into is supposed to help you grow and help your partner grow. But if both of you are not growing, then what you're going to end up doing is dealing with all the conflicts that you share as individuals and break each other down, then help each other rise up. Iron sharpens iron, deep calls unto deep. When you're in a place of pain, you can't call deep. What we tend to do as teenagers also is to yield to peer pressure, which was one of the things that resulted in me being raped. I wasn't dating in high school. People wanted me to date, and so I looked at the guy who was trying to date me, and all the girls were flocking after him, and I decided, you know what? If everybody's flocking after him and he's trying to get me, why not go and then mentally, torture them? And that led me to being raped at the age of 17, turned my world upside down, led me to look for love in the wrong places, and I had to go through the process of getting divorced after 15 years of being married, to finding myself, and now on the mission to help other people discover who they are, find their strengths, find their voices, and live a healthy lifestyle that will attract the love that they truly need. Not what they want, but what they need. Because most of the time we focus on wants because we have this craving. It's like craving for ice cream. That's how I describe it. To have someone, because we're seeing people that I love around us. But you're not looking at what your needs are and defining your needs and defining your core values that would allow you to look for a partner who complements you, that can now place you in a place where you're becoming fulfilled. And by the time you meet your partner, they're also fulfilled and feel complete and whole. And when you come together, it's just like you become a reflection of one another. So those are some of the things that led me to start to write and speak and coach, because what I'm seeing is we grew up in a way where nobody teaches us this thing. The schools are not allowing us coaches to even come in and try to lay a foundation for those that are in the schools, but it's helping people that are determined to change the trajectory of their lives, to change their story, to begin to find themselves, so that they're not creating generational curses, but they're breaking the cycle and stop to repeat patterns and self-sabotage and begin to discover themselves and live healthy and conscious lifestyle.
So this book is filled with a lot of honesty that a lot of people may not necessarily be ready to face. But in your opinion, and that's just my perspective, in your opinion, how would you suggest people come at this book in terms of if it's their first time reading it?
So the way I encourage people to come at this book is to be ready, be determined to change your own life, be determined to allow yourself, be open to receiving whatever you need, so that when you start to be honest with yourself, when you start to look at your life and say, I'm tired of living this fake life or creating this fake persona. I'm ready to really deal with my life. I'm tired of putting up this facade. I really want to start to examine myself. I find myself going around in circles. What can I do to change my story? Questioning yourself and saying, is this where you really want to be?
And from the first time I've read it, I think I've read it just from the sake of this being a single person. But now, dating someone and something a little bit more serious, it is a different read this time go round, because I'm more so looking at past things that's actually happened to me, and that idea of us having a relationship based on our single selves and not like coming together as like a equal union and us both bringing all of our stuff to the table. I'm a person that I'm gonna just push it all down and try to deal with it, and my partner is the type of person that's gonna put it all out on the table, and that in and of itself was a clash in the very beginning. So in terms of you writing this book for anybody to be able to pick it up, what were some of the things that you, not necessarily about your personal self, but what are some of the things that you wanted people to take away from the book in terms of helping them to kind of heal or grow or take their relationships to the next level, or even just picking the right person?
One of the things that I wrote to really help people is to own your truth.
Okay.
Most of the time, we don't want to own our truth. We run away from our truth because we don't want to deal with the issues. We don't want to deal with the conflicts. We're looking for a partner to help us resolve all of that. And that's where we make the biggest mistake, because our drive to find a partner is usually based on, I have this problem, I need someone to solve it. And so when you go and try to find someone to solve it, and they don't solve it because you set the expectation, you end up being disappointed. And what you do is get more resentful, more bitter, and that doesn't really take you into the healing place. Because what we tend to do after a relationship ends is we don't grieve. We don't grieve, we don't mourn. And because we don't, we're jumping into another relationship, and it's still all the same pain, reenacting themselves over and over again. Another thing is, because there's so much pain, you don't have trust for yourself, and so you're not going to trust the partner that you, because there's trust and pain cannot coexist. Same thing with love and pain. And because you don't yet trust yourself or love yourself, you can't trust or love the partner that you're coming in contact with. And so there's a communication breakdown. You can't really communicate because you become fearful. Your ego is now the driver, and you're not able to say the truth to your heart because you're feeling, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be shamed, I'm going to be guilty, and all that is what leads to most of the time relationship breakdown.
So I wanted to ask you one, because we're going to talk a little bit once I get off, so we can kind of set some dates, but where can people find the book?
The book is available on my website, www.kemisogunle.com. That's my first name, my last name. And it's also available on Amazon, Kindle, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, iBooks, Kobo. Actually, as well as my Facebook page has a list of the my books on my page as well.
So I definitely want to thank you for taking time to call in, and I'm going to call you shortly, so definitely look out for my call, and I definitely appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you so very much, Nate. I do appreciate all you do. Keep up the good work, and blessings.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
So we're going to take our final break for today, and we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whatever happened would you treat yourself like that? We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Don't lose yourself, stay on track. Baby, you're a god. Baby, you're a god. Believe that. Full of the things that we've overcome. Full of unspoken battles we've won. You're so much better than that. Sometimes the truth ain't always catchy as rap. Stop chasing cheese or you get stuck in a trap. Go get your crown and never.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature. And I can't.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back. This is the last segment. We have a couple more minutes. We just finished talking to Miss Kemi Sogunle, and she's a phenomenal person. She has a great energy. I got to meet her a couple times in support of her book. So we'll be talking to her shortly to get some dates where she can come on, and we're hoping that she can do a series here on the single life and love and all those things so we can get a better understanding. As artists, we're normally all over the board with finding love and being supported by love and all those things, and I really want us to get into a better space with ourselves because it's about relationships in general. Try to my phone. So we are, as an artist, it's not just my romantic relationships, but I looked a little bit deeper and I started looking at my relationships across the board, whether they be friends or family or business acquaintances, just in general. How do we handle our relationships? And we'll be talking with Miss Kemi about bringing her back on for that. We're finished for the day. We'll be back on Monday. We have Mr. Josue joining us, and we'll have another surprise guest that'll be stopping by. And then Friday we'll have Miss Be Inspired of the Be Inspired Radio Global Network joining us with The Truth, the Poet. She's an awesome young lady here in the Baltimore and surrounding area, doing her thing in the spoken word community, kind of doing it her own way. So look out for that. The next show up, It Is What It Is radio show, comes on at 9 o'clock. So that's what it is. See you later.
Ah.